What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So again, we're going to enter into phase 2 of Dad's blue supercharged speed density build. I'm only waiting on some car parts for the black car and the white car, so we're doing a little bit of vlogging, doing something a little bit different, making horsepower the old school way. Me and cousin Paul are going to enter into phase 2 today. We're going to set the pump up and prep it to get ready to start running and start making some power. But before we get started, make sure you hit that like and sub. I do appreciate everybody, and happy Memorial Day. Let's get into it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this car up, get some jack stands underneath of it, and Paul and I are going to pull this tank out to get this pump. I got me a old LPH Walbro that I tried to sell to swap me a couple times by now. I would put this whole unit in, but you know, it's got broken chips, which makes it a perfect candidate to get a wire mod. But we're not gonna do the wire mod right now. We're just gonna probably put this pump in and be done with it. I'm not interested in running the T-Rex pump like me and Paul had been talking about. If the pump fails, then the car shuts off. It only makes sense. Of us taking this bitch down. Oh, you okay?
Yeah.
You guys splashed?
No. Here you go.
Funny. Give me a crazy face. I'm gonna delete the audio. It does not look enthused. I mean, real quick, I wanted to show you, I mean, for being in Ohio, this car sits outside in the snow, it doesn't care. Doesn't get rotted at all. So, Paul came up with a good idea, cousin Paul did. He's like, why don't we switch this tank out while it's out, because it's got a lot of rust on it, it's getting a lot of rust, so we gotta pull this pump out anyways, so we might as well switch everything over. And the nice thing is since we're gonna boost it a little bit, this is one of my old tanks that I made. I made a drain on the bottom for like a race fuel and stuff, you know. So it's kind of a cool idea. And this tank's in way better condition. It's just a Spectre aftermarket tank. We're gonna blow it off and switch everything over and get everything put back in. All right, so we ended up getting the tank out. Had to take about 6 or 7 gallons out. You can see how kind of rusty that tank is. We're gonna switch this factory pump, which is, I'm glad we didn't just keep going, because this is just the factory Walbro F2 pump, and we're gonna stick this 255 in, so I gotta wire this in. Normally I would do my wire upgrade mod from my video, the Feed the Beast video, but we're gonna save that, because if I have to make more power another day, I gotta drop the tank and wire it and put a bigger pump in it anyways. So 255 should be plenty, should be like a T-Rex replacement with a factory one from back in the 90s. Should feed the FMU plenty of fuel. So we had to put a new sending unit in it, because literally the other sending unit worked really good. It just was rotted, like this whole ring and everything. So naturally I have a million parts for these Fox bodies, so I like to, you know, we went ahead and just put another one in. You can see I just finished the pump. I double heat shrink it. You know, these wires are good. It's a 255 Walbro Holley pump, GSS 349. Screen's there, everything's checking out. I gotta tighten this down now, and we're gonna go ahead and get this installed in the tank and get that thing back up in there. All right, so you can see we got this plastic one. I put a hole right here for the drain. So me and cousin Paul about to get underneath this car again, and I gotta put our pins in. We went ahead and cleaned up these the straps to match the tank, because it's pretty clean under here for the most part for an Ohio car. I mean, there's a spot here, but I mean, you can see, you know, the rails are all clean and pretty much all the way up, as I showed you earlier. You need some new control arms, because this car is hopping all over the place, and I'm gonna put some new shocks in and stuff, you know, get it ready to have some fun. All right, so we're gonna do a quick key on test. Make sure that we're getting power on the 255 pump. Got it all plugged in here. Go ahead and hit it. Oh yeah, sounds mad. Perfect. Okay, on to the next. All right, so it's Memorial Day, and we're just gonna go ahead and call it a day there. We were gonna try to get the supercharger tapped and fed and mounted on the car, but we're gonna go ahead and call it there. Make that called phase 3, but we're gonna go ahead and give it a start. Cousin Paul's gonna go ahead and give it a start, make sure the pump's running, make sure everything's working good. I don't see any leaks. That's just stuff that we had there. Again, cycle it again. Go ahead and hit it. Again. Again. It should have been like, ooh. Go ahead. Hold on a minute. Hey, cycle it a couple times now. It's like not picking up. I don't understand. All right, so as you're seeing that we had a problem, the car didn't want to start, so I'm thinking that either the pump was dead or it needed reverse polarity. So we modified the harness to reverse the polarity, because I've heard sometimes the aftermarket pumps require a reverse polarity. I've actually wired a 340 like that once. I don't know why it does that, but we're gonna try to fire it up and see if it works. If it starts priming, I'll know right off the jump. So now we're gonna call it a day, finally. But we won, didn't we? Yep. So, just showed you one of the common problems with the aftermarket pumps, at least back in the day or whatever. I don't know why it worked like this. Go ahead and hit that, Paul. Listen. Oh, what's that sound like? Hit it again. Hit it again. That's priming. So, what we did was we, go ahead and turn the key off. What we did was we reversed the polarity. We had it set to red, red, black, black when we did the pump. You guys seen it on the hanger. And what the pump was actually doing was pushing out, not sucking in. So, you know, instead of dropping the whole tank, I said, well, I'll just modify the harness and we'll fix it. So, I don't know why they build reverse polarity pumps when they're supposed to be red and black, but it is what it is. So, all right, we're gonna give this one more shot here. Paul's gonna fire the motor. Out of gear. Look at that. That much closer, boys. Yes, sir. Rev it up. Good enough. How does it?
It was like that the last.
Let me see. Where's that greasy at?
All over.
No, it isn't, is it?
Where is it not greasy at? Right here.
All right, so you could, these guys are making fun of my face because obviously I don't get that dirty that often, but let me explain what just happened. When you drop a tank, it's probably best to put a drain in it. We already had a drain in it, so he was already ahead. If you're gonna modify these cars, just put a drain in it. It makes life so much easier, especially if you want to run like a 110 mix, or if you just want to run straight race fuel, or even if you're running E85. Me, Cousin Paul, Cousin Fred here, we went ahead and changed the pump to a 255 Walbro that was made for Holley, if you guys seen the pictures. And we didn't know it was reverse polarity, but we ended up fixing it with the harness without having to pull the whole thing out. But when you guys are in these tanks, you should be checking for the baffle. Make sure that, I've seen tanks where the baffle just came loose and you need that like little like bowl baffle thing inside the tank. Check your the filler tube, because those like to get real rotted and rusty. Make sure your ring and your hanger's in good condition. Make sure the sending unit, Cousin Paul seen that the sending unit was all rotted and the ring was breaking off, and those are just some maintenance things. So now my dad's car is pretty set right now. As we're set up to feed the Vortech. It's got the 255 pump. If I ever need any more fuel, then I'm gonna have to wire the pump, which means I'll just put one of my 7 340s that I have. Anyways, I'm just gonna stick with the 255 in here for now with the stock lines, because this Vortech's not gonna make a whole lot of power to begin with. And you know, I made sure that I had a nice clean tank protector. I had everything set up. I know I did the feed line or the return line with a regular rubber hose and a clamp, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do in a pinch. So car's real solid. It's worth doing it. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it.